Hey guys, what is happening? Niat here with Film Comics Explained. We are back for the third chapter of Predator vs. Dredd vs. Aliens. When we left, the judges had been captured by the evil Dr. Reinstadt. He had injected one of them with the DNA of a xenomorph, causing him to mutate instantly. He then attached a facehugger onto Judge Gilligan before he made his escape with Anderson. The doctor had left Dredd in a quarantined room, restrained, with the infected McCreary to his left and the gestated alien-predator hybrid to his right. We pick back up with an explanation of Archbishop Emoji. We can see him talking to a large congregation of people with emoji tattoos on their foreheads. We're told he didn't actually believe in any of the things he told the followers of his apocalyptic death cult. There was no great programmer with a divine message that only the Archbishop could understand. It is explained that the prophecy of salvation in the form of glorious apocalypse was 100% crap. The truth was that the Archbishop just really hated humans. When Emoji was chased by the judges out of Megacity 1 and throughout their long pursuit of him across the cursed earth, it was hate that kept him going. We're told that just when he was supposed to be executed, something strange and unexpected had transpired. Emoji wondered whether he was witnessing some sort of miracle in the form of divine intervention. He asks whether the strange creatures that came to his aid were some sort of heavenly agents. We can see one of them looking at him, wondering what they should do. They agree that the doc only wanted the judges and that they should leave him. Because of this, Emoji believes they were delivered to him to assist with what he now recognized as his holy purpose. We can see him crawling away, as we are told he still hated humans, but was now driven by faith. He thinks that he will find the key to Megacity 1's salvation and its apocalypse here, as it was a place of miracles. We return to Dredd, who is restrained in the lab. He looks like he's about to get torn to shreds. We can see him yelling at Reinstadt, telling him that this was his final warning. He then tells him to call off these monsters and release him. He says that if he surrenders now, he might only sentence him to 300 years in an ISO cube. The doc can't believe the balls on Dredd, but is told by Buck that they don't have time to hang around. While they are leaving with Anderson and some alien samples, the doc is told that they are under attack out there and are being massacred by that other group of aliens who came there looking for their crash-landed buddy. I mean, these four are tearing through the animal hybrids to pieces in a gruesome display. The doc is very surprised to see this and asks how four of them are able to do so much damage when they were able to take one of them so easily. Buck explains that the one that crashed here was surprised and injured, while these four were ready for them. He goes on to say that if they stay around, they will be as dead as the judges. Anderson tells Reinstadt that Dredd is not dead. She then says that they are making a big mistake by underestimating him. The doc tells her that she is hardly in any position to talk, but assures her she will be formidable and magnificent when he impregnates her with the xenomorphic queen embryo. He tells her until then, she is utterly helpless, as we see her lose consciousness. Back at the lab, Dredd is talking to Judge McCreary. He tells him to snap out of it and explains that Reinstadt had fused his DNA with the alien, which meant that somewhere in there, there's still a man and a judge. He then asks McCreary to do his job and do it now. As the Predalien comes up to attack Dredd, McCreary breaks free of his restraint and jumps at the alien. We see McCreary reach for the Predalien before flinging it several feet into the wall. He then grabs his head and says, "Not just McCreary." Dredd can see that Anderson is in his head. She explains that she is using her PSI abilities to guide what's left of the human part, but says that it's fading fast. She frees Dredd and tells him that he only has time for one thing, and that is helping Gilligan get out of there, as she says she is losing control of McCreary. We see Dredd carrying him out with a facehugger attached to him. Dredd makes it outside with Gilligan and is shocked by what he sees. He can see that Reinstadt's animal soldiers are dead and have their body parts scattered everywhere. He tries to talk to Anderson before realizing he has lost his telepathic connection to her. He looks down at Gilligan and tells him that he needs to get him to a medical team. He says that he is not going to let anything happen to him. But at that moment, a small spear flies past and hits Gilligan in the heart, killing him instantly. We look over to see that a predator had fired the fatal shot. Dredd looks up to him and says that he just made a big mistake. Dredd walks up to the predator and says that assassination of a judge carries a death sentence as he punches him in the face. The predator recovers before punching him back. Dredd jumps at him saying, "Sorry, Gruesome, ignorance of the language is no excuse, and neither is ignorance of the law," as he lays into the predator. We hear a familiar voice telling Dredd to knock it off. He turns around to see Anderson smiling next to two of the predators. She tells him to leave him alone and that these guys were actually friendly. He asks her what happened to Reinstock, and she explains that these good-looking fellas showed up and he essentially just surrendered. We're told that he is now in a holding cell under armed guard, along with the last of his surviving genetically engineered men. Dredd asks why they allowed him to live, and Anderson explains that they're a predatory species who have a strange and complex code of honor. Prey that begs for mercy is unworthy in their eyes of the honor of killing. He asks if she can communicate with him. Once she confirms this, he tells her to let this one understand the price you pay when you murder a judge. Anderson tells him that the predator believed it was too late for Gilligan and that it was actually a mercy killing. We see it removing its mask to reveal battle scars as she tells him this wasn't the first time they'd gone up against those aliens. Dredd asks her if the predators know the level of death and destruction that will happen if those aliens are allowed to go free and propagate. She tells him that the predators already know, and she hands him his lawgiver. She says that these creatures call themselves Yachwa, and that they live for this kind of stuff as they are hunters. Dredd says, "Good, let's hunt," as he leads the group of interspecies ass-kickers. McCrary and the Predalien are stalking the hunters as Anderson says that they're out there. She can sense them. Dredd asks her to get back into McCrary's head and get him to turn on the Predalien, and she tells him that that's not an option, as what's left of him is now gone. She warns that he still has McCrary's DNA and the special training of a judge, making him a formidable opponent. McCrary jumps down and attacks one of the predators. He cuts into its back with his sharp claws. And Anderson tells us that she didn't think he would make himself too hard to find. Dredd surmises that the other one can't be too far ahead and orders his lawgiver to rapid fire. He shoots up into the Predalien and tells it to come out and fight. The mutated McCrary is biting into one of the predators as a second one runs at him from behind. It stabs him through the back, causing the xenomorphic acid blood to land on him, burning it in the process. We can see the predator scream as it dies. The two aliens are side by side and covered in blood as Dredd orders them all to fire while they are on the ropes. We see the two judges and a predator firing their ballistic weapons into the two aliens without pause. Anderson asks if they did it, and Dredd tells her not to get cocky as they got lucky. The predator helps its comrade up. Dredd tells her that they were ready and had backup, and that one of them was already injured. He informs her that this could have gone a lot worse, and that for some of them it already did, as they look at the dead predator. He tells her to tell the Yatwa that he's not charging him for what he did to Judge Gilligan, as he was right, but also wants them off this planet, explaining they have another universe to do their hunting. He says that he's not going to tolerate it here. Anderson tells him that they've already agreed to leave Reinstock and his animal man here to be sentenced. She says they are calling their shipmate for backup. At that moment, Reinstock's voice tells him that the crewman is dead and unable to come to his comlink. He tells them that if they are looking for their spacecraft, they are in for a surprise. Anderson yells at him, saying that he was locked up. The doc tells her that he made a new friend that rescued him. Emoji says, BFF, LOL, and sends the doc some kisses. He says that although he is a man of science, and the Archbishop is a man of faith, they discovered they share a mutual interest and a glorious mutual purpose. We can see that all of his animals in the back have had aliens burst out of them. He tells the group that they are on their way to Megacity 1, where they are both going to deliver salvation and the apocalypse together. We can see the new breeds of aliens, as each facehugger had essentially impregnated a unique animal-human hybrid. They look menacing as hell, And that is the end of chapter 3. I hope you guys are loving this series. If you enjoyed the video, feel free to like and to subscribe to stay up to date on all my content. I'm Niyat with Film Comics Explained. Thanks for stopping by.